Okay, this is chapter 7. Again, much of this should be review for you. You should have learned third declension nouns last year, and we have reviewed them to a little bit of extent already. But let's take a look at what we've already looked at. First and second declension nouns. Let's review those very quickly here. Here are your first declension noun endings. Let's say them out loud together, please. I, I, arum, is, as, is, I. That's your first declension noun endings. Your second declension masculine are us, o, o, orum, is, os, is, e. Second declension neuter is nearly identical to second declension masculine with just a few exceptions. Let's say them out loud together. E, o, a, orum, is, a, is, a. So this should all be reviewed for you. If you don't have them down, go back and practice these. But let's look at how we decline these with an actual noun attached to them. Here are some examples of a first declension, a second masculine, and a second neuter. Aquae, aqua, aquam, aqua, aquarum, aquis, aquas, aquis. Now you notice there's no vocative here because really moving forward, I think I'm going to show you vocative for third declension here, but really we're not going to be saying vocative on our chants, and so you won't see them on your declensions really much beyond here. So that's the reason why I did not include it. Your plural is aquae, aquarum, aquis, aquas, aquis. Second declension masculine, deus, dei, deo, deo, dei, deorum, deis, deos, deis. Second declension neutered, bellum, belli, bello, bellum, bello, bella, bellorum, bellis, bella, bellis. Now, it is key to make sure you know that the way you find the stem for a noun is by looking at the genitive. Remove the genitive singular ending and you will have your stem. So for the word water here, aqua, aquae, drop the AE and that leaves you your stem AQU. For deus, in the genitive it's dei, drop the I, that's your genitive singular ending, and that leaves you your stem DE. For second declension neuter, drop again the I, belly, in the genitive singular, drop the I, and that leaves you the stem bell. So when you have the stem, then you add to all the, for the other cases, you add that stem to your endings, and that's how you decline it. That's going to be very important for this next declension, which is third declension. Let's take a look at third declension noun endings. Again, this should be review. So masculine and feminine are the exact same here. So you've got masculine and feminine. Let's do the chant. Again, I do have the vocative here, but again, past third declension, you're really not going to see it much. It's blank, is, blank, s, ibis, s, ibis, s. Got an example here of both a masculine and a feminine. For masculine, you have rex, regis. Now notice to find the stem, you'd get the genitive, it's regis, drop the is, which is your genitive ending, and that leaves your stem, reg, reg. And to reg, you add all of your other endings, and that's how you decline it. If you look at just the nominative, you would look here at rex, and you would have the wrong stem. You might have rex, or maybe just an re, depending on how you decided you thought you were doing this. But that would be wrong. Your stem has to be found in the genitive singular. This is the reason why it's important to memorize the masculine and the nominative and the genitive when you're learning your vocabulary. So rex, regis, regi, regem, rege, rex, reges, regum, regibus, reges, regibus, reges. Remember, in the nominative, in the vocative singular, it should be exactly as it is in the nominative. That's right. It's a rex, not a reg stem. All right. So for feminine, we're using the word for truth. Virtus, virtutus. So what's the stem? Virtut. Hopefully you said virtut, because in the genitive you have virtutis, drop the is genitive ending, that leaves the stem virtut, and so it's virtuti, virtutem, virtute, virtus, virtutes, virtutum, virtutibus, virtutes, virtutibus, virtutes. That is your masculine, feminine, third declension. We also have a neuter. Now notice the neuter is nearly the same as masculine and feminine. Here's your differences. Remember our neuter rule that whatever's in the nominative has to be an accusative. So because you have a nominative blank, the accusative singular has to also be a blank. So it will be the exact same thing as the nominative singular. And if you remember in your second declension neuter, nominative plural, you had an A. Well, you're going to have that same A here. And again, because of the neuter rule, you'll have it in the accusative plural and, of course, the vocative plural as well. So let's look at this. It's blank, is, e, blank, blank, ibis, ibis, And so we've got the word for body in Latin, corpus, it's the neuter, corporis. So the stem is found by looking at the genitive corporis, drop the is ending. So corpor is your stem. And to that we add our endings, corpori. Then you go corpus, because again, whatever's in the nominative has to be an accusative. Corpore, we go back to the stem. And vocative, again, whatever's in the nominative has to be in the vocative, so it is corpus. And the rest of these, we're going to have our stem corpor. So it's corpora, corporum, corporibus, corpora, corporibus, corpora. So this is your third declension, masculine and feminine and neuter endings and how you decline them. Excuse me. Let's see here. That's basically the entire lesson. Here is the chart without the vocative, and this is how you'll learn your chant. Blank is e, m, s, ibis, s, ibis. For the neuter, blank is e, blank ibis, ibis. So you're going to want to practice these, get these down. Go ahead and do the worksheet. You will also start doing vocabulary. So make sure you work on vocabulary. You will also have a separate Google quiz for vocabulary whenever you're ready to do it at the end of this lesson.